Hey everyone, welcome back to the M&R Show on the M&R Network. I am Ron.
And I'm Boston Celtics Malcolm.
we have an obnoxious Boston Celtics fan here, Malcolm. I want to let Malcolm introduce the topic today.
Hey man, so I'm glad we get to introduce it because this is talking about the Celtics and Warriors finals matchup. So this is a very good matchup. I think Boston Celtics fans, and I think to an extent Warriors fans have been looking for a matchup like this ever since like 2018 when Kevin Durant was there, because Boston Celtics felt like they were the better matchup with instead of like LeBron against the Warriors. I mean, we can finally see it now. I understand that Kevin Durant's not there no more. We didn't have Kyrie now no more. So this is going to be a different matchup. But first, we got to start off is with the wing players. We talk about guys like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I think there are two dynamic type of wings where you got to find big wings for them. Yeah. We just talked before the show. We just said about how Otto Porter is going to be coming back. Otto Porter has a knee injury. That's correct.
Yeah.
A knee injury. Okay, yeah. So. And then Andre Iguodala coming back. I mean, Iguodala is about almost 600 years old, but he's still a valuable piece as far as a big wing to guard a Jason Tatum or a Jaylen Brown. I think that we look at this starting five. We gotta hope that Klay Thompson can be able to still guard, because he's not the same defender that he was before his injury.
Yeah.
And then gotta have Andrew Wiggins be able to make sure he's defending like crazy against a Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. JT really does a very good job against the Warriors. JB does a good job against the Warriors. Gary Payton would be a very good addition coming back this year because of the fact that he can be able to really guard the perimeter and guard guys like Derek White or Marcus Smart of the worlds. But that's where Boston Celtics don't. That's what Boston Celtics thrive from. They don't need Derek White. They don't need Marcus Smart to really do anything. It's really about the forwards down. So we're talking about guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and them guys. Draymond has to figure out who he's guarding. Because at the end of the day, Rod Williams might be only a lob threat, but he's one of the most impactful lob threats that the Celtics have. And Draymond definitely said it in this podcast as how impactful Robert Williams is just based off lobs. He can really change the way a whole offense is based on his lob threat. So I think this is just going to be a very good thing to watch. This could be the first time that, knock on wood, but this would be the first time the Celtics didn't have to worry about a very dominating big. Draymond's one of the smartest bigs.
Kevon Looney is the GOAT.
Kevon Looney's a GOAT. I feel you. But I think Kevon Looney is we'd rather have Kevon Looney than, a head straight Bam Adebayo who can play defense, guard the perimeter, or Giannis Antetokounmpo who he was dealing with all the time, or even a Brook Lopez who was, a 7-foot guy in the middle, So I just think that this will be a better for us as far as a big matchup and be able to get into the paint. So so how do you feel about this? Ron? How do you feel about the Celtics matchup?
So first, I think we have to just address that Malcolm's point earlier about these are two teams that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant played for, and now they're back in the finals. I didn't even think about that, but that doesn't look good to me. I'm sorry. That just doesn't look good. We have Kyrie Irving's former team in the finals. We have Kevin Durant's former team in the finals. And now we expect this same team with both of them to go to the finals. I just had to throw those tea leaves out there because it's not common. It's just not common.
It's not.
So now, getting to the game plan. I think they're gonna force, like you said, Malcolm. They don't need Derek White to score, but he kind of has to hit the open three. In the playoffs, he's been spotty. Against the last two games, he shot really good from three. But overall in the playoffs, I have it down. He shot like 25% on open threes. So it's like he's going to have to knock it down. He's crazy, 34% shooter from that same mark. So it's like they're going to force Derek White to have to shoot the three ball. I think he'll play, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It depends on what game. Maybe the Warriors, I think the Warriors go small a lot. Now, Boston usually doesn't shake all the time to go in small because they have bigs that can switch. But I think in some matchups, especially if Robert Williams' knee is not 100%, they're going to have to go do some small lines. So he'll be, I think, a very important add. But then also, we have to talk about the turnovers. We have Tatum with 77 turnovers in 18 playoff games. That's 18 more turnovers than the second person. Now, to be fair, I mean, it's not like the playoffs. Not like every player has played throughout the playoffs. So we're really just talking about people that were in the conference finals and up. But still, and then Jaylen Brown with 3 turnovers a game. It's crazy because when you watch the game, you just know Brown has more turnovers than Tatum. But on the stat sheet, he doesn't. But I think it just feels like he has more. So I think they're gonna watch for that. And Gary Payton, 2.8 steals per 75 possessions. They need him to play. He can be a real big factor with that type of stuff. He's just pesky. He doesn't have the height to necessarily guard Tatum or Jaylen Brown. But I think he has the heart just to be out there and just be annoying. Like, just all you need is a player. You know you're not gonna be able to just stop them from scoring. Especially a Tatum in the finals. I think he just come to play. Kobe's his mentor. Come on. Like he this is his moment. I think he's waited so long for this. I don't think we should expect a stinker. Like Gary Payton, you just need to just get in his head. We really need to just stop him. Just what Peter Tucker was doing to Durant last year. Just he can score 40 points. Just get in his head. And when that last thing happens, make him think of you where you won't make that shot. So I think that's what they'll start. That's their first game plan. What do you think about that game plan, Mark?
I think that's a very good game plan as far as really being pesky. Because at the end of the day, when you look at this, the defense, they don't really have the size to be able to guard the wings, unless you got you other than Andrew Wiggins and Otto and them guys. But they really have to be pesky and be able to force Boston to shoot. But in a way, it's not always good.
The dog says cap.
Bro, the dog always say cap to everything, to be honest.
Cap.
Then you saying cap to everything. But one thing that we got to look at with this team, you talk about going small, especially with Golden State Warriors going small. Boston would love to go small and still be big when you got guys like Grant Williams that can be slotted at the 4. And you know what I'm saying? And then you got Al Horford at the 5. To be honest, even when healthy, you could really have a big lineup, a pseudo big lineup. And when you can have Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams. Well, you have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, Al Horford, and Rob Williams all playing on the court against a small lineup based on the fact that they can still switch on anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's one big thing that we have to look at. And, that I'm really excited to see. Steve Kerr is a very good, well-respected coach, especially offensively. He will definitely have a good game plan against Ime Udoka, but Ime Udoka is a very, very good defensive coach. And we see that he makes adjustments and he does a lot of things. I really want to see what they do with Steph Curry. And the fact is, I want to see how they can be able to, they're going to double team him in a way or they're going to do full switches. Klay Thompson, I really think what Klay Thompson is, he's a very good player, but I think that Boston would love just to have a one-on-one matchup with Klay Thompson because at the end of the day, Klay Thompson, if you want to shoot the game out for everybody else, you go ahead and do that. I think and I think that's what Boston will like. Jordan Poole will be he'll be a big X factor if he's able to score. If Boston can get him to struggle, they can put Porter on the Porter, but Poole on the bench for a while because Poole not playing any defense, and he's gonna be forced to guard somebody on that.
Yeah, the Warriors are too deep to be forcing a play out there. Even if Poole's on the bag, I'm like, oh, okay, Kuminga. Like it's too many players that can play for you to play back.
Steve Kerr loves to, and one thing about I like about this series because Steve Kerr loves to all right, let me see what else I got on my bench. Some guys like to push it out, and sometimes it works in their favor, and I like that.
Yeah.
But they're probably gonna put a guy like Kuminga in. Kuminga might play a lot in this series.
I would love to see Kuminga guard Jaylen Brown. I think that's a great matchup for him. I really do.
Why? Because they low-key the same player in a way.
I think that is a perfect matchup for Jonathan Kuminga. Jaylen Brown's gonna get off. He's a rookie, but for Kuminga, size and speed matchup, he has the tools. He's kind of he's pretty. One thing I can say when he's coming in the playoff. Well, to be honest, Golden State hasn't really thrown anyone out there. I think that's had a bad postseason necessarily. Klay Thompson has been a little streaky, but the numbers you wouldn't even. He's shooting 42% from 3 in the playoffs. He wouldn't even. Again, sometimes you just watch the game, it doesn't seem like that, but he's shooting good. He's just he will shoot them out games. So, but then going to the rebounding, I look at the Warriors have been the best offensive rebounding team in the playoffs. And for some reason, Boston has been basically middle of the pack in the regular season and basically followed up in the postseason. They've just been average to okay at rebounding. So I'm trying to see how many second chance points can Golden State get as well. That could possibly be another big factor. Kevin Looney, I don't know, he's been missed a 14 rebound game, 20 rebound game, 16 rebound game. They haven't played the best rebounding teams overall, but I don't know what's going on. Those second chance points have helped them have the best offensive rating in the playoffs, and they're coming off of basically the best offensive rating in the regular season. So it's like this is going to be a big offensive versus defensive matchup because Boston has a 105 defensive rating in the regular season after January 1st all the way into now. So that's clearly the best in the playoffs. I mean, it goes with the 110, so it's a decent gap between the first and second best defenses. So I think that'd be interesting. But like you said, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Kuminga. They even played Moses Moody last game. Like, they have players. My last thing with before Malcolm gets his point off is just the freshness. Like they have a 2-game start. They have a 2-game resting start on Boston. And I think that possibly can be a factor in them getting the win.
Most definitely. In a way it could. But then again, you gotta look. These guys are young. These guys are playing with house money. Like I said before in the last episode, this is the Celtics' first time being in the finals. This is the Warriors' a couple times being in the finals. Celtics coming there based off just trying to have a culture, trying to start a dynasty, trying to start something, just like the OKC did with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook when they went to the finals. They was playing with house money. They're going to do the best they can to be able to see what they can be able to do. And I think with Boston, they will do the same thing. One thing that we could say is Boston just have a very good matchup. You said something about the rebounding problems, stuff like that. Boston in the middle of the pack. If you think about it, Boston in the regular season was one of the top rebounding teams in the league. They struggled a little bit when Robert Williams, went to the bench or got injured. I think one thing that we have to look at with this Boston Celtics team, if they have Robert Williams, they have the advantage on the rebounding. And if you look at throughout these playoffs, and I don't really think the first series, because I really think Boston was able to control those boards in a way. In the first season, my bad. But the Milwaukee series, I think that was big because Robert Williams was barely playing that much, and that the statistics was down based on that, and somewhat to the extent with the Miami series. But if Robert Williams is able to be healthy this series, they can easily be able to get those boards, a lot of second chances, because at the end of the day, you got Draymond. Draymond's a rebounder, but Draymond's always really literally out on the perimeter, getting guys like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson open. And then you got Kevon Looney in the back. Kevon Looney, they just played the Dallas Mavericks, who don't really have a imposing big.
Yeah, they are big.
Then they played Memphis Grizzlies when they barely played Steven Adams that series, and that was one of the reasons why Steven Adams and the Memphis Grizzlies was really one of those top offensive rebounding teams, because they had guys like Steven Adams and guys, but Steven Adams didn't really play that series because, based on matchup problems. They had Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson is not known as a rebounder. I call him a little small Serge Ibaka. So, I think that playing against Boston, if we're fully healthy, you have the two bigs who can be able to rebound the ball and be able to take advantage of those on the boards. And I think that's one big thing that we have going for us, if we can be able to make those matchups right, and to be able not to get into turnovers and force a lot of turnovers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and just lastly, Boston was basically let Miami shoot threes. It's no way to go into this series doing that. The first 2 games they played, I know that Marcus Smart roll up on Curry's ankle, yada yada. Those were Jordan Poole's dang near best. Those were his breakout games of the season, dang near. Both on Boston, both over 25 points, both times they played. So if they keep running that cover where they're letting players shoot on Golden State, letting even Andrew Wiggins shoot, it could be some long nights. Because even if Boston's up 20 points, I'm like, oh well, it's not the fourth yet. So that 3-point shoot is going to be very, very telling who either guards and who's making it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. This you're talking about 2 of the best 3-point shooters we have ever seen. So these are going to be it's a whole different matchup. And you got Jordan Poole as a little spark plug, and we've seen what he's done so far. I really think Ime Udoka is not going to really do that Milwaukee approach as far as forcing them to shoot threes. I think that he's going to force his bigs to go up on these guys and, force them to at least try to make some points in the paint. Robert Williams is going to be always staying down. I think they have to take advantage of Robert Williams' matchup, because Robert Williams is going to be a rover. He's going to leave his 3-point shooter. He's definitely going to leave a 3-point shooter. So, that's something that you just have to be able to see and find, because if you think that you're going to pass by somebody and go to paint easily, it's not going to happen.
but you can find that 3-point shot from somebody who's trying to roll to the paint to block your shot. So I just think that the Golden State Warriors have to look at that. Steph Curry has done a very good job in double team, so we had to see how that goes and stuff like that. Like I said, Jordan Poole can be able to help them win this series. He can be able to hurt them to win this series, based on him not playing defense and playmaking, something that he got to improve on. So some things that we got to look at, though.
Okay, so quickly before we end, we need what team is Malcolm going with and what games. We need a quick prediction of just team number of games.
So my quick, you talking about like just a quick prediction?
Yeah, like what team you think will win? How many games?
I already know. Who's gonna win it? The Celtics. There's no other reason why. The Celtics are involved. The Celtics are gonna win this game. And I say Celtics in 6.
Yeah, I'll take Warriors in 6. That's my exact. So one of us is gonna be very right. One of us is gonna be very wrong. We have the same number of games, so we'll know very early on what this is looking like. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a great series if we win 7 games. I think it'd be good for basketball. 2 good coaches. We got a black coach in there. We got a coach that's for the rights of black people. So I mean, I'm down for the game. I think 2 Greg Popovich, a disciple. So again, this is the M&R Network. And we're on the M&R Show. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. We have more stuff coming. Subscribe and share.
Most definitely. One thing I got to say is before, if the Celtics, if they go to a game 7, Warriors are going to win. I give it that. I'll say that. But make sure y'all continue following us on Instagram and on Twitter at M&R Show. We have a lot of good takes. I love when Ron will be able to talk about the Celtics, so he's going to talk about that soon. So make sure y'all tune in. And then, on Instagram, Mont is able to do what he got to do. So make sure y'all tune in. Appreciate y'all support. So y'all have a good one. See y'all.
All right.
All right.